So the very first question, what is a data warehousing?
Yeah, data warehouse is if I give you a very common definition, like not from the book, from my idea, it is a hello.
Yes, Jengir, go ahead.
Okay. Data warehouse. We use data warehouse to build a uh, to define the dimension table and fact table, and with those dimension table and fact table, we create the data warehouse, and those table is basically coming from the transaction table, that is the OLTP, and those OLTP table is from those table we do the transformation on those transaction table, and then we extract data, and we dump those data into the SQL server, and from those data we do the analysis on it to the SSIS. Then finally we create the data warehouse.
Yeah, so just open the notepad and write down this question. Whatever the question I'm asking, just
Yeah,
note
sure.
of that question. Okay, so very simply you can say a data warehousing is lot of years of historical information we are storing inside the dimension tables and fact tables. Okay, and this dimension
Yes.
and fact table we are creating by using a dimensional modeling under the star and snowflake
Mhm.
schema.
Okay. So last thing you told me that we use the snowflakes and star schema to build the data warehouse, right?
Yes,
Okay.
data
Yeah.
warehousing is having lot of years of historical information, and this historical information we are storing inside the dimension tables and fact tables, and this dimension and fact modeling we are creating by using a dimensional modeling. So under this dimensional modeling we have two schemas, star schema and snowflake schema.
Yes. Okay.
So this data warehousing data we are going to use to do the analysis of your business and data by using some any other reporting tool. So you just tell to them like this, okay? But the actual meaning of data warehousing is the lot of years of historical information if you are storing in a database, that is a data warehousing.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, like we extract data from the different sources first to build the warehouse, data warehouse,
Yeah.
and we do the um, from those data, we work on those data. We extract those data from the OLTP, right?
Yes. From OLTP to
It's
the data warehousing, we are loading the data.
loading the data, right?
Yeah. By
So
doing
then
ETL.
ETL, by doing ETL, we load the data, we transform those data, and finally we load in SQL Server. Um, then we create the star schema and snowflake schema to build the data warehouse. This is how
Right.
I should
So the
answer.
ETL is nothing but our SSIS tool we are using to do.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, okay. Go to the next question.
Okay.
So what is the difference between the OLTP and data warehousing?
The difference between OLTP and did you say the difference between OLTP and data warehouse?
Yes. If we have already OLTP, then why we are using data warehousing?
Okay, because we cannot use OLTP or the transaction data to create the data warehouse, because those data is not sorry what's called is not denormalized. Those data is not normalized data, so this data is not ready to create the data warehouse. So for creating the data warehouse, we have to denormalize those data that is easy to that responds very quickly, that processing or speed is quickly. Otherwise, uh, if we use the OLTP data, it takes huge time um, to respond to process or execution. That's why we use
Right.
the
So I will tell you.
OLTP.
The OLTP is online transactional processing data. It's a
Yes,
real-time data. So when the customer is coming and he did some transaction, so that live data immediately will come into the OLTP database. Okay, so
yes,
this
yes,
OLTP database system we were designing by using ER modeling. ER modeling means entity relational modeling. Okay.
relational
Yeah.
model. Yes,
So the relation between these entities we are making by using primary key and foreign key relationships. Okay. So there are
yes,
two type of tables: master tables and transaction tables. Okay.
yes,
And coming to the data warehousing, so the data warehousing, why we are using data warehousing instead of OLTP database already you have, right? The reason
yes,
is, so in the OLTP system, every time the data is updating and inserting, whenever the new transactions are happening, okay? So on the
mhm,
same database, if you are going to do the analysis, the performance impact will come because some one side the insert updates are happening and another side if you are trying to access the data to do the analysis every time, so that server might deadlocks will come. Okay, the another
yes,
thing is the another thing is, so the data whatever you have in the OLTP database may not sufficient and may not well formatted data to do the business analysis. That is the reason
yes,
we are
yes,
converting this raw data into a data warehousing to well formatted and ready to do the analysis.
yes.
Okay. So
As we can say the is not normalized because all this data is normalized data. So that one will gonna take huge time to execution or um,
that is also
loading
one
time.
important point. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In OLTP system, yes, it's a normalized data.
Yes.
Okay, might be
Yes.
you have many number of small tables. When you want the data, you have to
Yes.
join more tables. That
Yes.
is
Yes.
one disadvantage. And coming to the data warehousing, you have a in OLTP we have ER modeling, right? But in the data
Yes.
warehousing we have dimensional modeling.
Yes.
Okay, so in your
Yes.
OLTP you have master tables and the fact tables. When you are coming to the data warehousing dimension modeling, we have dimension tables and fact tables. Similar like
Factor.
master table is nothing but dimension table, a transaction table is nothing but
OLTP.
fact table.
Fact. Factor. Oh, okay. Sorry. Can you repeat this again, please?
Yeah, so in your OLTP system, the database contains master tables. Let's say customer table, product table, and the location
Yes.
table. All these are the
Yes.
master tables. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
same
Mm-hmm.
tables we can say in the dimensional modeling, those are dimension tables.
Dimension
Dimension
table.
customer, dimension
That.
product.
Yes. That have the surrogate keys specific like the
Yes, that
automatic
okay.
increment.
And here,
Yes.
whatever the transaction tables you have, the same
Mm-hmm.
thing in the fact. In the dimensional modeling, we are calling it is a fact table.
Okay. So the transaction table is a kind of fact table, right? But we are calling transaction table is a kind of is the timing of the OLTP time, like when customer real time doing any kinds of transaction, those transaction the table what is created from this transaction is called the fact table, right?
Yes. So that the transactional information, what is the quantity, what is the customer ID,
Yes.
what is the product
Mhm.
ID, and what is the location
Measures
when the
me-
transaction happen. All information will come into transaction table.
transaction table. Yes.
Yeah.
So all kinds of measures and quantities and everything is there on the fact table, right?
Yes. In the transaction table. In OLTP point of view, we are calling that is a
Transaction
transaction.
table.
The same thing in data
Yes.
warehousing dimensional point of view, we are
Fact
calling it
table.
a fact table. And the things
Okay.
whatever you have inside is measures.
Okay.
Like what is the
Measures.
quantity,
Yeah.
what is the amount, all these are measures.
Yes. Okay. 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 Fine.
So you have written some definitions, right? So we no need
Yeah.
to tell all these kind of definitions in the interview point of view. Okay, this is just for understanding purpose. Whatever you are
Okay.
understanding, you can say in your own words by in the in the some meaningful information. Okay, so subject
Okay.
oriented, integrated, all these you no need to tell to them. Okay, the main
Okay.
is the purpose we are using data warehousing. Just tell to them that's enough. Okay,
Okay.
right. So you just come down. So what is this Kimball method? What is the Kimball process is following to do the data warehousing?
Kim, yeah, Kimball process is the kind of things like uh, we it's a top to bottom. Bottom to top approach. Like um, we Kimball made the data mart first. Then from the data mart, all the data marts then united together made the data warehouse through the dimension modeling. This is the Kimball approach.
Yeah. So what is a data mart? That is
Data mart is yeah small kind of table like the production table
right. I will tell.
is
So that is,
entity like
yeah.
small kind.
It's not one entity, so you can say like this: you have a business, okay, some
Mhm.
operations in your business, so you can divide your operations into different departments, different business areas, different
Okay.
subject areas, like
Mhm.
so you just go up,
Mhm.
go up.
Here
I
is the
want to show
data
that
mart. I forget
diagram whatever you showed, right? Go up.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Go up.
Mhm.
See here, the data source layer. Under the data source layer, operations you have HR data, product data, inventory data, marketing data,
Yes.
right? So
Uh-huh.
each area
Yes.
we are going to create one data mart. It's a mini
Yes.
data
Okay.
warehousing. Let's say
Mhm.
for the HR data information, I want to create one schema.
Mhm.
Okay, and the similar way in the HR data we have some dimension tables, some fact tables, and in the product table we have some fact tables and some dimension tables. So that is different schema, this is different schema. So when we are
I have a
combining all these schemas and all these data marts, that is a data warehousing.
yes. Okay.
Okay, in
Uh,
some scenarios the people will create first data marts. Let's say when they are starting the project initially, they don't start for all the
mhm.
departments, for all business areas. First they want to do some
Mhm.
analytics on the HR data. What they will do,
Yes.
first they will bring all the dimension tables, fact tables related to the HR department. Okay, it's completed. Then they want to focus on the next business area, product data. They want to do the
Hello.
analytics on the product data. So they need a schema, they need a data mart. So here what will happen? Whatever the dimension tables there in the HR department, the same dimension tables we may use in the product data mart also.
Yes.
Fact tables are different, that's all. Okay.
Yes.
Data mart.
Now I have a one very basic question, but I have to be
Yeah,
clear.
go ahead.
Like the schema, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, I have a confusion. When do we create the schema? Yeah, so far I understand the star schema. I understand the Snowflake schema.
Hmm.
But basically, in SQL Server,
Hmm.
we create the
Hmm.
schema for what? I know
See,
I create the database. I know everything, but
I understand.
schemas can you please clear to me?
There are 3 points over here. The usage of the schema. Okay, a schema is
Yes.
nothing but a model only. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, there are
Model.
two things. Schema means there are two different things are there. Okay. In the OLTP point of view, the schema means, you know, DBO dot schema, like that.
Yes.
So there the context is different. What is that meaning is, let's say in your project, in a particular database, you have 100 tables. Okay, out
Yes.
of these
Yes.
100 tables, 50 tables are related to a particular department like HR department, and another 50 tables are related to the product department. So what you want to do, you want to maintain the distinction between these 50 tables. So that time what you can do, when you are creating a table, we will separate the first 50 tables into HR schema and next 50 tables into product schema. So that time each table, when you are creating, we will make HR dot, the schema will come HR. If you are not providing any schema explicitly, by default it will take DBO dot. So what is the advantage of
Mm,
this one? So the maintenance point of view, and also when you want to give any security, or yeah, so if you are, you cannot control on the, if you want to apply the same policy securities to the 50 tables at a time. Okay, so how can you do? On the schema
okay.
level you can apply. Let's say here the DBO is coming. If you want to create a new table with the different schema, when you are creating the table, create table. Okay, before you are going to
Yes.
give the table name, you just put the schema name dot table name. For
Okay.
example, I
The
want to
thing is
create it.
that yes.
Come again.
Yes, like here I created the database. I
Okay.
know the how to create the database,
Huh.
but where is the schema here? What is the schema here?
Go to the tables.
Like,
See DBO dot. It's
okay,
a schema name.
okay,
For example, if you want to create a new table with a different schema, you just write down whatever I am telling. Create, write down
okay, okay.
table,
Create table. Yeah.
let's say HR dot
And
emp bracket close and employee number integer bracket.
oh, okay, okay, okay. Then imp name.
That's enough. Don't require all those things.
Okay, okay, okay. All right.
Try to execute. It is throwing error at HR. First, you need to create the
Yes.
schema name. So write down create schema.
It is kind of. statement.
HR. Right. Execute this one.
Is it
Select
under the master
database.
or
No, select
I
your
change?
database. Don't use master database.
Okay. Okay,
Schema
yeah.
created. Now create this table.
Oh, okay. Yes.
See the table into
Right.
database under the tables list.
Okay. Here.
hr.emp. Okay. What is the DB?
Yes. Yes.
When you are not specifying any, yeah, okay, right. See, come down. So there are different tables with human resource dot department and person dot address. Did you find?
Yes. I
What
can
is the
see. Yes.
DB?
Here.
The department, employee department, all these are belongs to human resource department, HR department only. Okay. This address
But
type,
those.
those are default. We are not specifying any schema.
Okay. We are not specifying
That is the reason
any.
by default it is taking DBO.
Mm-hmm.
If you are
Data.
specifying
Data.
particularly a schema name when you are creating the table, it will come like that. In the below you see
Okay.
person dot address. That means all these tables related to the person information. So for
Okay.
easily understanding purpose, and if you want to apply any properties for all these tables, address type, business entity address, instead of
Mm-hmm.
individually, if you are applying on the schema level, you can
Mm-hmm.
automatically it will apply to the, all the tables.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because I
Yes.
was like reminding always like that, but was not clear before. Fine.
So
Okay, fine.
here the schema context is different. Then coming to our dimensional modeling, there our schema means star schema, snowflake schema. That is different. Okay.
Yes,
Star
that is
snow
different.
is
Yes.
related to the model.
Model, data model,
Yeah.
data warehouse model. Okay, dimension model. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Right. So the next question is, so basically they may ask what is the Kimball process. Okay. So in the Kimball process,
Yes.
there is the top down process is there, bottom to top process is there. Top to bottom and bottom to top process. Bottom to
Yes.
top means first they will create the data marts and then
Yes.
they will create the data warehousing
Right.
on the top
Yes.
of the data marts. Or in the top to bottom is first they will create the
Bill.
data warehousing, and on the
Yes.
top of this data warehousings they will divide data marts as per their reporting purpose.
Yes. Bill in one. That did
Yeah.
like that.
When they're asking what are the two different Kimball processes to create the schema dimension modeling, you can tell them this one.
Yes. And probably we did not one thing we should I did not do like the package deployment and SQL server agent those things we did not will cover after or
Come again.
the package the SSI package deployment.
Hmm.
You you have one video I did not watch this one I will watch after, right?
Okay, I will tell you when you can watch. We'll go one
Okay,
by one.
okay,
So don't, if
okay,
you are
fine,
putting all
okay.
these statements, you may confuse.
Oh yes, okay, fine, just I
The
remind
reason
you.
I want
Okay,
to simplify the question and answers. Okay.
Okay, no
So
problem.
the next question is, uh, what is a dimension table and what is a fact table? Okay.
Yes.
So what is a dimension table?
Dimension table, who is a table who is uh, describes the description of a entity, like it describes the features of entity. It doesn't contain any measures or numeric data. Only
Simply
only the descriptive
you can say
data it contains.
a dimension table having a descriptive textual values. So we can
Descriptive
say a
text.
dimension table in customer, it has all the information about the customer, and let's say a dim product, it has all the information about the products whatever we have inside the table. Okay, so these dimension tables are not telling anything about your measures and quantities.
Mm, yes.
Descriptive textual values. Examples, you can give the examples in your recent project, whatever the dimension tables you are using.
Yes, like like the product table, customer table,
That depends on
right?
your recent project, what project you have
Oh, okay,
worked
okay.
and what are the
Yes.
tables you have. So at least try to identify 10 dimension tables and 2 fact tables in your recent project. Let's say if you are putting the insurance domain, what are all the tables, dimensions and facts may have in the insurance domain. If it is a banking domain,
Mm,
you have to tell them, they will ask a question, how many dimension tables you have, how many fact tables you have in your project.
okay, fine. Mm.
Okay, and the next is, what is a fact table?
A table which contains measures or the numeric data of the table. Uh,
So
um,
the measures, the fact table having a measure values and key values.
Evaluate.
So what are the key values? Those key values are nothing but the surrogate key values of the dimension table.
Surrogate key values. Like all the keys column, like the business keys or alternate keys or the um, what's called, hello, hello.
I'm sorry, I'm in mute. So what is a surrogate?
Well, okay. The surrogate key is a automatic increment key that is created on the dimension table. Um, it is created automatically in a table when the transaction table um, converted. into the dimension table to build the data warehouse. This is how what I
Okay,
understand.
just write down in the document what is the surrogate key column and what is a business key column. Next, what is a business key column? And what is the star schema? What is Snowflake? So they will ask a question: how many kinds of schemas we have, and what is the schema you have used in your project? Okay,
Yeah.
so you can tell them, yes, we are predominantly using the star schema, but sometimes it might be a Snowflake as well. Okay, so what is the difference
Sorry.
between star schema? What is a Snowflake schema?
Okay. Okay. But did you ask me any question?
What is the difference between star and Snowflake schema?
Okay. Yeah. Star schema is a kind of schema when all the dimension table is surrounding on the fact table and it looks like a star. That is why it's called a star schema. Whereas the Snowflake schema, in Snowflake schema, all the dimension table are connected with each other. Not all the dimension table, but there is one central table is a fact table. This fact table is connected with few dimension table, and again the few dimension table is connected with those dimension table. Looks like a snowflakes.
What is the advantage of star and snow? What is the disadvantages?
Uh, for the star schema, Snowflake schema, its processing time or the performance time is big. I mean, there is a performance issue or execution issue with the Snowflake schema, whereas the star schema is faster, um, and its performance is better than the Snowflake schema.
So basically, the star will directly related all the dimension tables with the fact table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in that time, what will happen? So the querying is easy because you don't need to
Crazy.
join more tables. Very minimal number of tables you can join. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
all these tables are denormalized tables.
Mhm. Oh yes, this is the big point. Yes.
That is the one advantage. What is the advantage? You no need to join more tables. So the code execution is more faster. What is the
Mhm.
disadvantage? The tables are denormalized tables. What do you mean by denormalization? If the tables are denormalized tables, there might be a data repeating more than one time. Unnecessarily, we are storing the data um, in the dimension table.
Mhm.
Sorry, in the fact table.
Dimensional. Okay.
Did you watch my video? There I have explained
Yes.
very clearly what is star and what
Yes.
is no and what are the
Yes. I
differences.
did.
So I want you
Yes.
to see once again, then you will understand more clear.
Yes. I did. I did, and I also have the note.
Did you write down all these points? So what
Yeah.
I'm
So
asking
far,
you,
like
when you
here.
are watching the video, just put on pause and try to
Mhm.
write down what questions I am asking over there, and or you can ask you questions yourself, and answer also will be there. So you can write down the answer also.
Yeah. Yes. Like here, I write down the advantage of Snowflake scheme is improve performance score and minimize disk storage requirement and joining smaller
I
data
have
frames.
given one example also. What is
Oh,
what
okay.
is the advantage if you are using a Snowflake schema, like taking a
Okay.
category table, subcategory table, and product table. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
have explained
Okay.
very clearly if you are taking Snowflake schema, what is the usage of that one. So you can watch that data
Okay.
warehouse video one more time.
Okay. I'll watch one more
Yeah, if
time.
you are
Yeah. Okay.
not maintaining the tables, normalized tables, so every time, yeah, for example, all the dimension tables, if you are connecting directly, category table, subcategory table, product table to the fact table, so you have to maintain the
Yes.
key values for all these three: category, subcategory, and product. Am I right?
Product. Yes.
Or if you are maintaining the snow, that means category table connecting with subcategory, subcategory with product, product with the fact table. So in the fact table,
Actually.
you can maintain only the product key. You don't need to maintain category key and subcategory key for every transaction.
Actually, very correct. Yes.
So that kind of scenario you have to explain. So please go through that video once again, and please try to understand each and every point. Okay?
Okay.
This
Sure.
is lot
Okay.
of example
Okay.
I have given. Okay, go to our document. So the next question is, they will ask what is a role playing dimension, and what is conformed dimension,
Okay. Dimensions. And also one more dimension we have
what is a junk dimension,
gender dimension. Yeah.
and what is a factless fact table, and what are the different kind of measures.
Different kind of measures.
Like semi-additive, additive, fully additive, sorry, non-additive.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, okay, okay.
Those,
It's a fact, right? Kind of fact. Factable.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, and additive, non-additive, and additive.
Yeah. So these are enough questions for the data warehousing. Okay, they don't
Okay.
go
Okay.
beyond these topics because in 30 minutes of interview, they cannot focus on all the
Mm-hmm.
questions in the data warehousing part only.
Yes.
So this is
Okay.
enough. So what I'm asking you, whatever the questions we have, write down in the notepad. Write down
Okay.
answers in simple language, very simple
Okay.
language, uh, by watching my video.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Don't take from internet. Take from the internet and translate into your language,
Okay. Okay.
because the interviewer is expecting from your language, not the internet language.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's fine.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.